So then the point is everybody has to do it. 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Congrats to all the Artist Launchpad participants on making it through 6 weeks of this wonderful program for local artists. We're really excited to be here today to hear all of your guys' vision, your next steps. When Heather and I were pulling this program together and kind of envisioning what we wanted it to feel like, we really wanted this to be a space where, you know, local artists could come together, feel in a comfortable, safe space to be able to share your ideas and really have a real community. And so that's why we wanted to end on a note like this one, where we can all kind of come together and talk about, you know, what we've learned from the program and what we want to do next. So we are excited for that. So I'm just going to go over the schedule real quick. We just had a lovely breakfast, and then we'll be hearing from John Fiume and Nicole Mullet. And then we'll start with some sessions, and we'll have a couple breaks, and we're pretty much going in alphabetical order, and I'll just help lead you guys along the way. And then at the end, we'll have an optional lunch gathering at Lot 15 for anyone who wants to come to that. So, before I introduce these two, I do want to give a special thank you to John and the Akron Art Museum for hosting us this afternoon. Part of what I do in the community is also being on the Community Advisory Council here at the Akron Art Museum, and they're just making so many strides to make sure that this is a welcoming community space where local artists feel welcome. And so when I reached out to John and asked if we could use this space for such a special ending, culminating moment for this program, he right away was excited about it. So I just want to say thanks again for letting us use this space. John and Nicole are two really amazing and important arts leaders here in Akron, and they're really shaping how Akron is being open and welcoming and serving artists and the arts. So first we'll hear from John Fiume. He's the John S. Knight Director and CEO here at the Akron Art Museum. And then we'll hear a few words from Nicole Mullet, Executive Director of Arts Now. Thanks again for being here, guys.
So good morning, and Natalie, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I am just, kind of started with that woo, and then I'm like, wow, this is gonna be a high energy morning, which I love. And then did not even realize that my picture was gonna be shown with Nicole on this stage, and how honored I am, and then how excited I am for all of you and this program, because I think it's really, really cool. So Natalie, remind me, how many participants? 20 participants, which is awesome. And I can't emphasize enough how important local artists are. Every artist starts out as a local artist, right? And it's very important for this organization to be in tune with that. It's very important for, Nicole, I'm not gonna step on your toes here, but working with Arts Now for years, it's so important to the vibrancy of a community overall. And so I'm very fortunate to hear about this program, very excited. And then I was asked, to kind of a few different things that maybe the Akron Art Museum can offer. And the list is, there's numerous ways, but it really starts with building relationships. And so I want to encourage all of you, and I also encourage our staff, to really be out there and building relationships and really get to know who you are and what you do and how your career is advancing, what you're involved in, because we only know what we know. Quite often here at the museum, there are opportunities where we want to engage with local artists, so we like to know who they are, and quite often I'm emailing or texting Nicole saying, hey, I'm looking for an artist of this type of media or what have you. And but really, building those relationships and getting to know each other, and I think that's really the role of this art museum. We're here for the community first, and so email, drop in, schedule coffee time, whatever, with me, with anyone, any way that we can, anyone on my team can be a resource. They're all very aware of my stance on this and my expectation of this, and so quite often any of us in any given department are kind of going the extra mile, giving a tour, whatever it may be, just having time to meet in the lobby, just to help out, whether it's an emerging artist from a high school program to what all of you are doing as well. So the other opportunities that I actually see here too is, definitely we will make you aware of specific projects that we have. Quite often we have a grant or something that ties into local artists. Right now we have 2 local artists that are installing in our Corbin Gallery, which is up near the old post office. That's actually going to open up on June 1st, fingers crossed. And so we just never know. So, engage, ask, and definitely leverage those relationships. I took a quick look at the curriculum and I was just blown away by the instructors and the quality of those instructors and their experience and knowledge that they shared with you. And it just sets for such a perfect foundation for your growth. And so again, if there's anything I can do for you, certainly let me know. I'm gonna have some business cards out there, all that good stuff, but you can easily find me on our website. Any questions for me since I'm up here at this very moment? All good?
You just answered them.
I just answered them. I love it. Okay, I don't want to bring the energy down by any. Yeah, Nicole.
What is one thing that you're really excited about as you're looking ahead for the next phase of growth? There's something that is bringing you energy about the art museum right now.
Okay, that's because I missed that point. That's really good, Nicole. Like,
oh no,
yeah, Nicole's like, you're answering? No. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm really excited about. Matter of fact, Becca, who helped to orchestrate the logistics here, we were just talking. And it's been a week, and the reason why it's been a week is that we just finished our strategic plan for the next 3 years. And the theme of that strategic plan is building outside the building. And so it's all referencing how we can become more engaged in the community, which includes all of you and local artists. Of course, there's other components there. There's all these different pillars that have to do with financial sustainability and a lot of those the back end stuff that all of you just learned about, but it really has a deeper dive into the community. So I'm really, really excited about the plan. It's quite overwhelming, but it's achievable, and it will, it's definitely focused on increasing that engagement. And then more, I should say, immediate, I'm very excited about a community program that we're going to be launching this summer that is in conjunction with Art Bridges, which is a granting organization, and we are actually going to have a van that is wrapped up into, it's called pop carts, and we've got these wonderful carts, if you can kind of imagine like a popcorn cart, and we've got these wonderful carts that we're going to be taking to festivals throughout the summer, and each one has unique game or something attached to it. But we're also going to be recording people's thoughts about some artwork that's been installed recently in the galleries. And then we're going to be installing some hyperbolic speakers that will be right in front of those pieces of artwork. And hyperbolic speakers are sort of reminds you of like the hairdryer when you go to, to the beauty salon or what have you, where it just sort of encompasses the sound right in that space so it doesn't disturb the rest of the space. And we're going to be playing those recordings. So it kind of reminds me of maybe the program on NPR where they sort of record each other. And so we're really excited about that program, really excited about the van is here, but it's not wrapped yet. But we're going to be out in the community to a lot of different festivals this summer. So that's something I'm also very excited about because we need to bring the museum out to the community. So, Nicole, thank you for that question. Yes?
Yes. My name's Georgio, and I'm 78 years old. Jack here he's catching up to me, but I'm a little older. Anyway,
Jack's like, okay.
and I believe that on the website, Akron Art Museum had a initiative for seniors starting next year. And we would be interested in knowing more about the senior initiative.
Yes.
And what we could do to help out as maybe volunteers or some type of approach in that way.
So that is wonderful, and that's thank you for noticing that. That's something else I'm excited about. That is our Center for Creative Aging program that we are also launching this summer, and our coordinator for that program just started yesterday. And so that is specific programming for older adults. And I'm not sure all the details on each of the programs. I have a sort of an idea of what's happening and how it's going to be tying into the galleries and things of that sort. But in regards to volunteer opportunities, things of that sort, so I gladly take down your information, share it with our new coordinator, and actually we're one of, I want to say, 20 art museums from across the country to receive this grant from the E.A. Mickelson Foundation, and I also want to give Nicole some congratulations and thanks for her support in that process as well. So again, it's a great opportunity. It does help to place the Akron Art Museum on the national stage, and the best part of it is this is almost one of those forgotten groups when we talk about diversity and inclusion and accessibility, and people don't typically reference older adults. And so it's extremely important, and so we're really excited to be participating in this work. And we'll actually be working along with the other museums so we can learn about some of their best practices as well. Yes?
Hi, I'm Blake. Did you say something about the upcoming partnership with Artists of Rubber City? Because I understand that if you're a member of Artists of Rubber City, each member will be able to show something here at the museum.
So, unfortunately, I don't know much about that program, but I will find out.
I think I could say something about that. Because
Great, Heather.
Sorry, I'm going to run up here real quick because I can answer that question. Because I was at the meeting for Artists of Rubber City where they talked about this. So Artists of Rubber City, which you guys know came and presented to you all membership in that organization. There is an event that is here at the Art Museum later this summer. I believe the date is August 12th, but you guys don't hold me to that. You're going to want to check. Say again? 7th? Thank you, Deanna. August 7th, where there will be a lot of different artist member organizations who are here at the museum doing work about presenting what they do, and they all have different activities that they're doing while they're here. And Artists of Rubber City is allowing their members to exhibit artwork here in the building when that takes place. So if you want to know more information about that, I would encourage you to contact your connections at Artists of Rubber City, and certainly to become a member of that organization with your discounted student rate this summer. And that's just the first of many ways that they can support you as you continue to grow as an artist. Does that answer your question, Blake?
Yes, I'm the contact for Artists of Rubber City.
Oh, great. Blake is the contact for Artists of Rubber City. Blake, we should have had you come up and talk about this, but I'm really thankful. Natalie and I have talked about this. We're really thankful that the Art Museum is serving as a convener in this way, because it's going to bring people from all over, certainly Summit County and the region, here, and we're actually really hoping that Summit Art Space, that we can, like do some things and tell people about Summit Art Space when they're all here too.
So I'm assuming you're probably working with Gina or Caitlin.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, so they're working with members of our learning and engagement team. So I apologize for not knowing all of those details, but it sounds great, and that is another example of how we can definitely work with the local artist community, so that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you all very much. Have an incredible fun morning. I love the Buddha board. I have to go sign it, I understand. And so Nicole, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning. I am turning into my niece, so I have my phone up here so I don't forget things. I actually want to start by taking a minute to thank Heather and Natalie. If we could give them a round of applause. So while I haven't been with you every week, I feel like I have, because you have two of the fiercest advocates in this community talking about you in front of people all the time. They're celebrating your achievements, they're talking about how excited they are, about how you're going to impact the community in meaningful ways, and they're setting a path for you. So that when you say, you go up to people in the community and you say you participated in this program, they already know you. They feel as though you are part of the world that they inhabit already, and I want to inhabit. Heather only gave me 1 cup of coffee this morning. No, but very sincerely, I want to thank you, Heather and Natalie, for being such passionate advocates. It's been wonderful to watch what's happening at Summit Art Space but it's being led by your heart for this community and for the artists in this community, and that means a lot to me. Watching and participating and supporting, but I hope you guys feel that as well. I'm getting emotional on a Saturday morning, but you are so important to the community at large and to the arts sector that you inhabit, and you truly have some really wonderful advocates in those two. So I want to start by saying congratulations to them, and thank you. Congratulations to all of you. This is a big day, and you're spending the Saturday morning at the Art Museum, and I know it's going to go fast and furiously, but I hope you find time to pause and feel good about what you've achieved and accomplished. I know that this is the start of something important and big, but you've done a tremendous amount of work to get here. And I want to tell you that the community has been preparing for you. In 2019, we helped to shepherd forward a community conversation called the Cultural Plan that resulted in 10 key priorities that I think I probably rambled at you about. These are things that the community that we serve said were important to them. How we get there over the span of 15 years is going to change, but the thing that we know is that we don't move forward as a community without healthy, supported artists. You're vitally important to the success of that plan, and by extension, the success of our community. And we're very, very grateful that you're taking the time to invest in yourself. It matters. I'm going to give a pitch because I have to. John was not being facetious about people reaching out to Heather, to Natalie, to myself all the time, asking how they can connect with artists. And so one of the ways that that can happen is, have you heard of Summit Live 365? Just not, even though you It is a robust arts event, cultural event and experiences website, and we define culture very broadly. Anything that impacts the community, and that is essentially not the rubber ducks or little league games, right? But one of the things that we have on there that I really value is an artist directory. It's free for you to go in, you put in your information, you can direct people to your websites, but we use that a lot, and the community has started using that a lot to find people and connect to each other too. This summer, Natalie would have told you about a program that we're launching called Arts Forward. Arts Now has not been a funder. We do not have the opportunity to give out money in the past, but this summer we're going to be able to. And we would love to see the artist community come out, find partners, find collaborators if that's important to your work, and that website can be a great starting point. But the impetus for that Arts Forward is really going to be to drive forward the priorities of the cultural plan. You're already a part of that work, but if you have an idea that you have been percolating on that you think would really impact the community, that would drive forward one of those 10 priorities, I am so excited to finally be in the part where we get to write checks out. We don't usually get to do that, so we're excited. I'm going to be done now, but I really liked that John gave the opportunity to ask questions, so I want to offer that up in case, as long as I have time, Heather. Did she leave? Good.
Let's go get the coffee.
All right, does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
So does the program, is it set up for residents of Summit County, or can you be a resident of a neighboring county?
The project and the work has to be in Summit County. We understand that that's not going to impact especially all of our artist community because boundaries are artificial, but we're really trying to make sure the money stays in Summit County and impacts Summit County residents. Cuyahoga County has that wonderful funding mechanism through the syntax. Stark County has resources. We want this for our Summit County community.
But you can live outside the county, right?
You can, but the money is going to stay in terms of the impact is going to be in Summit County. But anywhere in the county, even Twinsburg. Twinsburg forgets they're part of Summit County sometimes. I'm always reminding them. Any other questions?
Yes. So this is more personal, but how does like the continuing alt culture, the way that it's growing, like how has that impacted you in your role? Like how does that make you feel when you see it happen?
The continuation of the cultural plan. Did you see me almost cry in front of Artie early, and that's why you're doing this to me? I said this to someone this week. The process of the cultural plan, which was a lot of me sitting in rooms and being really quiet and listening. I am a different person now than I was when that process started. And it's because of people like you in this room. It's because of artists that I heard of from all ages, from all different parts of the city and the community. But I think that I am better because of it, and I think I am better equipped to do my job because of it. So when I look ahead, I don't see me. I have like 10 people I'm excited that are going to take my job. Some of them are in this room. I see a community that is pulled together where everyone has access to and the ability to create in a space that feels safe. And I know that we don't always feel that way when we look around, but I see it happening in some of the small ways that are impactful. I am excited. And I'm excited. I'm excited because of people like you. So thank you for investing in yourself. It matters a great deal. Don't stop doing it. I don't know why I keep waving at all of you.
Thanks again so much, John and Nicole, for helping to kick things off today. Such an important part of Akron, and happy that you guys have all had the chance to meet them. Clearly, they're extremely friendly people. When you see them out, tell them, hey, I'm from Artist Launchpad, and then they'll know who you are. All right, so now it's time for all of you guys to share your next steps. So how this is going to work is everyone has about 7 minutes. I'm going to keep track of time on my phone. So I will wave like a 2 when there's a couple minutes left, and maybe a 1, just so that things stay on schedule and we don't end up here, until 5 o'clock at night tonight. You can advance slides on the keyboard up here. I'm going to keep this little guy, which will also advance slides, so for some reason I need to advance things from my seat, then I can do that. But the arrow buttons up here on the keypad will advance for you guys. The microphone is here. You do not have to stay here. You can take it out and move around if you'd like. So this is your 7 minutes. If you want to have a little bit of interaction, then great. And we're just excited to hear what you have to say. It's no pressure. This should be a fun, kind of celebratory moment. As Kristen, one of our lovely instructors, reminded me, man, you're making all these, because she made you guys do the personality test, you're making all these introverts like talk. And so I'm sorry, but also this is great. We're all in this together, and it's no pressure. So I will just read who will be going. This session, we're going to start out with Georgio, Andre, Mary, Brett, George, Dee, and Jen. I think maybe a few people are missing, so I'll just click through their slides. But Georgio, if you would like to come up and kick us off.
Georgio!
I've got it back.
Let's give a round of applause for our director, executive director, as well as the Akron Museum, in addition to all of you. So thank you for being here. And this is my work. I am Giorgio Sabino. I'm an artist, and I'd like to start actually before I go there. Thank you, Artist Launchpad, for having us create a beautiful book that I've created myself, and that you guys all did the same. So very happy that I completed this. So I'm going to describe a little bit about my work. Within my work, there exist 4 perspectives through which it can be perceived. The adventurous side of GS3, the curious gaze of a 7th grader painting MC Escher, the stern businessman, and the visionary futurist thinker. These diverse facets have shaped my body of work, where color, shape intertwine, creating an overwhelming experience with the arrangement of ideas on canvas, paper, and silk. The future is here, So I add to my artwork AR, so there's an AR experience for today's society. My goal is to slow down the viewer, and so that person can take the time to smell the roses or the flowers. Nature should be celebrated because it's a wonder of the world. Art is like foreplay. You have to actually be involved, observe, understand the work, not just for its beauty, but for the intricate, delicate, and the ecosystem that we all come from. What has surprised me about being in the Artist Launchpad is my passion to create these written documents, to build my business plan, to thoroughly think through all of the questions that we all had. I'm currently experiencing success by participating in this major show in Cleveland with another exhibit scheduled for 2024. However, I anticipate further success when I showcase my work in Paris and in New York City. My values are influenced by decisions with creativity, to be as fun as Basquiat's, blending and exploring and creating new techniques and ideas while being authentic as Romeo Bearden. So my work reflects the multiculturalism, connection to my work so it resonates like Francisco Goya, my favorite. Lastly, I believe in my art to make positive impact on individuals and society. As in my graduate studies at Case Western Reserve University and CIA, my work was called Educational Genocide, addressing the important issues to inspire change in oil paint. In my next year, my goals as an artist is to teach in fashion in Paris with my art, fashion, and wedding photography. To achieve these goals, I will need to coordinate with the school, secure resources for teaching, invest in more photography equipment, keep developing my wedding photography, market my services, secure funding for the art exhibits, and build strategic partnerships, exploring funding opportunities and collaborating with local artists and organizers for the support of these endeavors. My artistic practice incorporates the unique element of blending nature, tech, painting, and photography, observing fashion trends and expressing women's desires through textiles, and creating mystery and excitement from technology. I can showcase the blending of my mediums through art exhibits and fashion shows, highlighting the connection between art and fashion. I've established a strong reputation to attract a wider audience, positioning myself as an innovative artist with the intersection of art, photography, technology, and fashion. My big takeaways from the Artist Launchpad: 1, I've learned that I'm a determined realist. 2, the amount of us sharing knowledge and experiences, whether from speakers or from our fellow artists, these unique interactions emphasize the importance of networking and creating a supportive community of artists and nonprofits to build, inspire, and uplift one another. I have shared what I have learned with other artists, either in class or the ones who witnessed my art show at the Trudy Weisenberg Gallery firsthand, the business side of GS3. You witnessed my office, you witnessed my office hours, and how I engage my audience. From my educational background, I was led to question like Socrates, allowing me to examine and refocus and refine my knowledge with the skills to write out this purpose on paper by my reflection. Artist Launchpad fostered my creativity and reinforced my values with a supportive artistic community, which is you. So thank you. Give you a small show of some work.
Is that painted on silk?
It can be printed on silk, so yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, but these are currently just digital. Give me just a second, I'll give you a quick AR tour.
future of art, Georgio. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Supposed to respond. We supposed to say, "Woo, back to us,"
I was trying to work here. And I may call up Andre Cato.
Hi.
Hello.
How you guys doing? Thanks for coming out. I appreciate seeing you all. And to our esteemed guests and colleagues, hey, friends and family, how y'all doing? So I'm not at all uncomfortable being up here, as you can imagine. So shout out to everybody that's going to present today too, because I know that many of you, when I saw you in the theater, when Trinidad came, y'all were kind of tight and then got loose, and I appreciated seeing you guys come into the performers world and kind of open up. I know that's kind of a challenge for you all. So, and it actually, believe it or not, it's a challenge for us too sometimes, as is being up here right now, because I went through several iterations of preparing for this, and I was thinking, art and entrepreneur, we gotta do business, we gotta sell high, buy low. I was thinking in all these terms like, oh, this isn't really that businessy. And oddly enough, like what you think you need and want at the time is not always what you need at the time or what you want. So I thought, okay, we're gonna be learning some business techniques and getting down to business so I can make money. But it turned out that we were doing a lot of mindset work with it being framed up by business thoughts and processes, which is cool. Now that led me to the idea of like, I came in, you know, I tend to look and poke my head into the business world a little bit. I'm not an expert, but I'm probably far ahead of most of my peers, especially performers. And by the way, this does not sound like it was iterated and thought through, but it was. So a funny thing happened, a strange thing on the way to the forum, is I thought about all these things. I was like, I'm gonna give this great presentation, and it's gonna have whiz and bang and graphics, and that didn't happen. And then the week got busy, and I was like, okay, where are we gonna take this from? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll start. Nah, that's not gonna work. That you're never alone at the top, and he's the top of the top, so you'll always be at the top, even if you're at the bottom. And I was like, wow, I've been at the bottom. I know a lot about that. And it's actually, quite frankly, only at the bottom. So, where am I going with this? To the top. Shout out to Kanye. My plans are to form a multimedia company, because I have a discipline in film, music, podcasting. I come from the theater, I do improv, I'm classically trained, I trained at the Cleveland Playhouse, the oldest repertory theater in the country. I trained at Caramel, the oldest multicultural Black theater in the country. So I had a chance to hang out some places and do some things. This week made me think about the hours I'm putting in doing stuff, and this week I actually chronicled my hours and cataloged 8 hours. So I'm going to put in systems to figure out how I can make that a regular occurring thing. I'm working on a two-man show with a friend of mine. I'm working on a new record, and I am also in the process of launching a podcast. So I just need to stay focused and stay honest. As an old friend of mine would say, he would say, "You the young soldier, and I'm the old general, and I need you to just keep me honest and don't let me be no punk." So I would like to say, I also realize in this process that it is not being talented and gifted or artistic that make you special. There are many people who do it professionally or privately that are thus. It is being a part, not being creative, being a part of the creative. So I thank you for being my teachers, becoming my friends, and I thank our leadership before I break down like Natalie. That ain't gonna happen. All right, I appreciate y'all.
Hello, my name is Mary Jeffer. I am an artist and a photographer. I primarily work using analog processes. So to speak a little bit about what you're seeing on the screen, the image that you see on the left was made using a process called Cliché-Vert, where I merge handmade ink-painted negatives with digitally altered negatives that my grandfather originally created in the 1950s, and I make silver gelatin prints in the darkroom with them. And then the image you see on the far right of this hallway was made with a plastic toy camera. Before I delve deeper into discussing my own takeaways, I'd like to start off with some expressions of appreciation. So thank you to the Akron Art Museum for having us today. To the Artist Launchpad, the Artist Launchpad experience has been tremendously valuable, and I'm so grateful to Summit Art Space for organizing the program, the Burton D. Morgan Foundation for providing funding, my peers for being so vulnerable and engaging, and the instructors for sharing their time and insight. 3 goals I have for the next year as an artist are: 1, to reach out to at least several local galleries to inquire about selling some of my prints. 2, to clean up my grandfather's 4x5 camera and make photos with it finally. It's been sitting in my bookcase for too long. And then 3, to use what I've learned through Artist Launchpad to help highlight an installation that I'll be doing this summer for Mullet, which is an immersive community art experience in the Slavic Village neighborhood of Cleveland. To give some background on the event, Slavic Village was the epicenter of the foreclosure crisis in the 2000s, and this event began in 2014 as a way to activate vacant houses before they were demolished. Slavic Village Community Development Corporation invites artists to create temporary installations within the structures prior to their demolition. And Rooms to Let has since evolved into a way to activate vacant storefronts along the Broadway East 55th corridor in Cleveland. This summer, I'll be creating an installation of lumens, which are photographic prints made by placing objects. In my case, I'll be using botanical clippings atop light-sensitive paper and then exposing them to the sun. So I brought something along with me today. So this is a contact printing frame made out of wood, and I use it to make my lumens. So you see I have a fern inside, and if I were actually making a lumen, I'd have light-sensitive paper where all the white is, and it would actually be changing as you look at it. So the images you see in the center of the screen are both lumens that I've made. And to speak a little bit more about the process, it's unique because you can use fogged, or this means accidentally exposed to light, photo paper, or expired photo paper that might otherwise be discarded. Additionally, though the paper is used to create black and white prints in the darkroom, as you can see from the center images, through the lumen process and exposure to the sunlight, you can get really delicate and beautiful colors. And I also apply apple cider vinegar and lemon juice sometimes to change the pH of the paper, and especially in the bottom center where it's a little bit more painterly, that's how I'm achieving that. So the catch with lumens is if you make the prints permanent by immersing them in photo fixer, they will turn brown, so you lose all of these colors. So right now, both of the ones in the center are in a dark box that doesn't let light in my house, and I got these images by scanning them. And whenever I take the lumens out of that box, they're always shifting a little bit more. So it's this kind of always in flux medium. So I'll be playing with that a little bit by displaying both scanned reproductions of the lumens and also original lumens that will change throughout the weekend exhibit. For sourcing of my botanical materials for these, I'll find plants in public spaces like cracks in the asphalt along the sidewalks. And I'm also looking to partner with residents of Slavic Village to request small clippings from their gardens and yards. And in exchange for their donation, they'll receive a print made with the plant that they donate. If you're in the Cleveland area, I definitely encourage you to stop by Rooms to Let. It's on July 8th and 9th this year. There will be immersive art, an artist market, music, activities. This will be my 3rd year participating, so if you're curious about the experience and about the event, please connect with me. I'd be more than happy to share with you about my experiences. Thinking more broadly about the next 3 to 5 years, 3 goals I have for the future as an artist are: 1, to apply for residency programs; 2, to build out offerings of prints in order to have a booth at an artist market; and 3, continue learning, growing, and creating connections. This past winter, I enrolled in a 6-week course through the Cleveland Print Room, and I had some really great photo walks with peers through the class, and we had great critique sessions. After the course concluded, we were like, we don't want to stop meeting, so we decided to form a photo collective that meets on a monthly basis. I don't know if the group will continue to be meeting this many years down the line, but for now, I'm looking forward to having accountability buddies and a regular venue to share ideas and inspiration. If you're a photographer who's interested in joining a group like that and having these discussions, again, please connect with me. I'd be more than happy to talk with you about it. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, George. Gorgeous.
I am Georgio. My wife told me today that I shouldn't be so goofy, so I'm going to, whoops, there we go. I brought along Jack, and he's going to help me a little bit here, and I'm going to set this over on this side so I can read my notes. Well, maybe I should read them over here on the floor. My wife, I'm trying not to be goofy. If you can see on the screen over here, there are 5 different art projects that I had completed. This one right here has been accepted. That's the center one right there. Been accepted in a fashion design company up in Canada to reproduce those images on their line of work in dresses and tote bags and things like that. So I signed the agreement this last week, and so it's already in place. The thing that I'd like to share a little bit about is how I got started. When I was 12 years old, I entered a contest for the Akron Beacon Journal, sketching a little picture of an Indian and a dog, or a dog, and I won. It was a $50 gift certificate, and they came back from the art project, and my folks, my mom and dad, they didn't care to spend the money on my art lessons and so forth, so it was declined. But that's when my passion for the arts really started, when I was 12 years old, and it continued through, and you could ask the question, well, you feel successful? Well, that was one of the questions on the project there with the art pad and artist notepad. Launchpad, excuse me, there I am, being goofy again. Anyway, here, as I was going through this and thinking about what I was going to say this morning, it all changed. It all changed last night, and I'm going to give you another example of how it changed, because here is that good? Here is another painting that I did when I went through the art walk in March that I did over here at Summit Art Space. And so I started this from start to finish at the art walk. So you had asked the question, well, do you feel successful going into this artist Launchpad program? I felt a little successful. I had my own TV show at Lakewood Springfield, and Ann Snyder was instrumental in helping to get that started, so I want to thank her and everybody else that was involved in all that. And of course here for the program. But each one of these paintings here has a story. The one on the top left is when my son passed away 4 years ago, and this was in the Summit Art Space exhibit, and it helped me get through the grieving process. So I'm really focused in on trying to help people get through their struggles and things like that. Down the one on the left, top or bottom, was one that, and I'll be doing something similar to that. But getting back to the successful side of it, there's two individuals that really got my attention, and those were John Singer Sargent and Gorky. How many here knows who Gorky is? Okay. He was instrumental in starting the expression, abstract expressionism back at the turn of the century. So anyway, those two people was instrumental, but you folks in this program also gives me that push, gives me that drive to go forward, to look for new opportunities. I have a painting in here that I was going to bring out here, and the question was asked, well, can I, this happened at 7:30 last night. Can I paint a painting in 7 minutes? It took me 8 minutes. And I'll show it to you later, maybe at the, I don't know, whenever I want, whenever it's convenient. So anyway, I was going to finish that painting up here, and I've got 1 more minute to talk, and I don't feel I can even bring it out in that short a time. But anyway, it's going to be called something about the art pad, the art Launchpad painting maybe, I don't know. Anyway, this one right here, it's called the Summit Art Walk Muse. Summit Art Walk Muse. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening. I'll not be so goofy the next time, I'm sorry, I apologize. But anyway, thanks for all your help for cheering me on and pushing me in the right direction. The collaboration is amazing. It's exciting for me to meet the different individuals who can push me in the right direction and give me good advice, and whether or not they like the painting or they say, hey, you maybe should do this or that, I thank you on all that as well. So again, thank you very much.
So my name is Theresa Brightman. I am a poet, writer, I'm a fiber artist and knitwear designer, and I work a full-time day job that I enjoy, but isn't as creatively fulfilling as I wanted it to be. I applied for the Artist Launchpad because I believed that I was missing something, that there was some secret formula or a specific skill, a key element I was missing that would move me from full-time day job, part-time artist into full-time artist. But I was wrong. What I learned over the last 7 weeks was that I already had all the skills that I needed, the knowledge, the resources. I just needed to learn a new way of thinking about them and using them. For example, I'm a writer. I know how to use words, and I can use words persuasively, but I would always freeze up when people would ask me to describe what I do. Being here made me realize I already have the skills to talk about my own work. I also used to say I don't know anything about marketing, but I already knew how to use social media. I could access online communities, but being here showed me how to use those tools and skills more effectively. Before I came here, I already knew how to make a list. Everybody knows how to make a list. But being here gave me a different way of thinking about how to organize my to-do list in an intentional way to plan and achieve my goals. I have 2 books of poems and 1 book of essays planned, and I'm also planning 2 writing workshops that now I know I can execute with these skills, with these new ways of thinking about what I already have and know. I am deeply grateful to Summit Art Space, to Heather and Natalie, and all of our faculty over the last 7 weeks who helped me really extract my own skills and show me how to use them effectively and intentionally. But I am especially grateful to my greatest resource and support who could not be here today. But despite everything he is going through right now, he insisted that I work on this presentation and not skip class because, as he told me, I'm not going to know what day it is, but if I find out afterwards that you missed class, I'm going to be really upset with you. So I wanted to, I decided that really the best thing I could do for you all today was perform a piece that I wrote just for today. And this is for my husband, Steve. This is called Fables. I have a story to tell you. Once upon a time, a boy saw a girl, and the boy met the girl, and the boy met the girl again. The boy met the girl a 3rd time, and finally, the girl met the boy. He gave her his heart, and she gave him a ring, and they lived happily ever in a house built of stories and ivy and squirrels. I have a story to tell you. Once upon a time, in a house made of stone ground flour and clover pollen and black granite, lived a girl and a boy. The girl stored feathers and acorns in the walls of the house for warmth and winter. The boy stored sticks and sugar beneath the floorboards for summer, and they lived happily ever. I have a story to tell you. There once was a house of shortbread built in the woods beneath the open-armed maples and the sneezy black walnuts. In spring, the chipmunks nibbled at the walls, and new mother songbirds nested in the eaves, feeding crumbs of pink icing into open beaks with closed eyes. Sometimes a storm whipped between the trees, ripping straw from the roof. Sometimes the creek flooded and melted the foundations, but there was always time to patch and pour when home is sweet. I have a story to tell you. Exactly 8 years and 6 months after the boy gave his heart to the girl and the girl gave a ring to the boy took his heart back and gave the ring back to the girl. The boy then gave his heart to a woodsman with a knife and a saw. The woodsman made the heart stop beating for exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes. Then the woodsman, surrounded by light and nameless animals and a forbidden fig tree, breathed godness back into the clay of the boy's lungs, shot lightning into the clay of the boy's heart, and said, "Let there be life." I have a story to tell you. Once upon a time, a boy and a girl took a walk through the woods. The girl collected river stones, and chickadees landed in the boy's hands to eat breadcrumbs from his palms. Sometimes rain fell while they walked. Sometimes the sun burned too hot. Sometimes the boy or the girl tripped and scraped a leg or needed to rest. The boy wanted to collect sticks and sugar to store beneath the floorboards for summer, and the girl was there when he returned. The boy told the girl to collect her feathers and acorns for winter. She didn't want to stray from the trail, but he promised he would be there when she returned, and he was. And they lived happily ever. Thank you.
Thank you for the energy. Lately, I've been reflecting on other people's perception of me. They like you good. Of course, man, you've been prepared for messy. Messy meaning the losses we've all acquired. Accepting grief is the trait we lean on because it's admired. Hey, in layman's terms, we dig a hole for pain, overlay the root, and wonder why we need the Novocaine. Imagine that. We would rather point the blame than seal the cracks. This is not who I am, right? I am an artist, I am a photographer, I am a graphic designer, I am a poet, I am a musical artist, I do a lot of stuff, and it is confusing at times to try to figure out what to do and when to do it. The reason why I came to Summit Art Space, like this artist Launchpad, is to help streamline who I am and what my message is. So we've all been there this whole time. One of the things that I discovered about myself is I am capable of doing a lot more than I probably should. I had a conversation with Kristen, so she's right there in the audience, so say hi, yeah, wave. So we talked on a one-on-one a month ago, which was so helpful because for me, I asked her that same question, and she said, Rob, you probably should streamline what you do, but make it all make sense together. It's one thing I really didn't think about at the beginning, is how to bring all of who I am together as a brand. So Artist Launchpad, all these weeks we did all these conversations, we had all these breakouts, and it led me to a vision board, which started with who I am. Now you guys can't see it clearly from where you are, but I am a visual artist, I am a creative writer, and I am an apparel designer, which later got upgraded to a apparel owner, because that's actually what I am in that role. All these different things that we talked about, and I remember this breakout was asking us questions. If you guys remember, like, what do you represent? What's your interests? What do you mean? So these are all things that kind of came to me to help me get to this point where I am. This vision board looks completely different than this picture on the screen. So the picture on the screen is just apparel, but it doesn't tell you the story of how the apparel gets there. So you guys will have to look at it after the fact, because of course it's pretty small from where you are, but I put a lot of attention into it because I wanted us to be able to kind of go through it together. My why, or my end game, or my dream as a designer, as an artist, is to be able to share my story, is to be able to teach it, to be able to express it, kind of as I am right now. And when I say story, I mean my impact on the community, impact on my family, impact on other artists. And these are things that we all do at this point right now, but we just do it in different ways. So being able to share my story is my why. That's my end game. Being able to share it worldwide, being able to take this apparel and pour all of my heart into it and my message into it as a catalyst to get me to one place in front of people so I can encourage them. So Artist Launchpad has just given me the formula, encouraged me to put things in a format which allows me to be able to look at things clearly. Who am I as an artist? What do I want? Why do I want it? What do I need? What do I need to accomplish in it? And then how am I going to get it? So right now, you guys are looking at a screen. At the beginning when I first came, I wasn't quite sure like how or why I do apparel, but now it's very crystal clear to me because the apparel is the vessel that I use to be able to spread my story and my message, which gives me opportunity to talk about it all the time. Because when you wear something that you enjoy, you guys all have something on today that you went into the mirror and looked at, you feel good about it. I want people to feel good about what they're wearing, what they're doing, and then how they're engaging with other people, which again, is them also telling their story. So I want to thank everybody for just being present, for just being open and honest during this whole process, because it's really been helpful for me to kind of narrow down who I am as an artist. And I hope that all of us kind of take this together, and as Dee said, being able to create in the future. It's not that the moment that we're in right now is ending, it's just going to be turning into something else together in the future. So I look forward to that. I look forward to what I am doing, and as a photographer, so this is a great shot. So I figured out that I can't do all these things. I can't be a rap artist. I can't do concerts because I don't have time. I can't do photography with families or weddings because I don't have time. It doesn't fit into the model altogether. But I can do simple, small things at one time. So as a photographer, I can do exhibition on social justice on June 9th at Summer Art Walk that you can all see. As a music artist, I can perform with a band in the future, maybe a one-nighter. As a writer, I can stand up and I can do spoken word in a great arena with people, but it all ties into who I am as an artist, and it all funnels to what I want people to see and feel about my brand. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Grondin, and I just also wanted to say thank you to everyone that put this summit Launchpad out there, and to all the people that helped me get through this class and helped me get through all of everything that I learned in here. So I have a lot of pictures because the pictures are actually, there's no way I'm going to stand here in the dark and be able to read anything, so the pictures are actually my cue. And I think most of what I'm going to say is also written on the screen, so maybe you can read it too. Okay, so first of all, from like starting out this class, what was my biggest surprise? And my biggest surprise was like not being able to come up with the words to describe my art, who I was. I know who I am, I know what my art is, but I never put the two of those things together. I never really thought about it in those terms, that I am my art and my art is me and that's my brand. So I struggled a lot with that whole brand thing. I still haven't gotten it, but this whole class has given me like a better insights on what my art is about and helped me to be able to define it better. So I am going to share a little bit about what my art is about, and then the outcomes, the goals that I have after leaving this class. So as I started out, I looked at work that I have done, and I looked at my artist statement, and I tried to come up with words that kind of described that I felt that I related to. And so it was things like situations, the world that's fragile but yet enduring, order and chaos, the whole process of transformation. This piece was done during my thesis when I was looking at a lot of pictures of war that it was landscapes that were destroyed by war. So then I started this process of taking apart images, multiple images, manipulating them, and then putting them back together to make something new. And I think then at some points in the class I said, well, when my whole world fell apart, that's when I decided to follow my dreams. Well, I think that that's a lot about what my art is. It's about worlds falling apart and then being put back together to make something new. My work is inspired by either places that I've been or places that I imagine, and sometimes there isn't really a line between the two of those. I could be like riding along and admiring a beautiful shining lake with like a dock on the side of it, and then I found out it wasn't really a lake at all. It was a parking lot in an empty strip mall. But with my eyesight, when I don't see something, it's kind of like my imagination and my brain fills in the blank, and sometimes I guess I like it better than what's out there. So the thing that I'm doing, I think this is why I'm also working on landscapes, is because I'm creating a space that I totally control. And for me, that's a big deal because actually space controls me. It intimidates me, it makes me frustrated, and just my ability to get through space is kind of, so when I'm making my work, it's kind of a little opposite where I control it. Some of the things that I feel like they really relate to me is the fact of that these places that really inspire me, they're not going to be there forever. Probably they're going to change. Everything that endures is going to have to change. So this whole idea of transformation is really important to me. I feel like my work is a document of the places and time that I am in. And it also documents my ability to share it at that time. I know that some places are going to change, but for me, probably one thing that does change is my eyesight isn't going through this. And I have this real urgency to create this work because I know someday, unless there's a cure for RP, it might end up being that my whole world is going to vanish. So in the work that I am doing, one of the things that I am, I really feel, I want to create work that says something about, maybe it's about political things or maybe it's about the environment. I really admire artists that do this. I don't do it enough. I don't do it all the time, but it's okay. So some takeaways, some things that I am doing with my art is that I am creating a space that the audience can look at my work through my own visual perspective. Sometimes I'm shifting like the planes of the landscape. I'm making a picture that you need to maneuver through like it's a new space. Sometimes I'll put little tiny things in the picture that you have to walk up close to see what the heck that is. And that forces the viewer to say, it forces the viewer to look at the picture from the same place as I do up close. And another thing that I'm doing is adding collage and found materials, recycled items that maybe have textures or patterns that are tactile that I can feel. So in my goals, number one goal is to make more time for art. I realize that I am not making enough time for art. I'm easily distracted. And I figure if I can work on art for like 20 hours a week, that will be terrific. But sometimes the things that I am doing that's distracting me though, like for instance, this picture is the Flats, and it was inspired by going to a music festival down at the Music Box. But goal number two is, again, make time for art. So in all of my distraction, I'm making that my priority goal is making more time for art. And what I really need to do is kind of come up with new processes that will work better for me and work further on abstraction. And so during this class, I took a leap and I signed up for a 1-week artist workshop thing where I will be going day and night and be gone for the week and can work on only art. And I hope that will get me into the routine of making art every day. And the second thing I need to do is work on social media. This is my website, and you can Google me and get to it and learn more about me, but I need to work more on social media and get somebody to help me with some of it. And I'm going to try and tackle what I can do now and then expand to maybe something like Instagram and blogs. And my another goal is that I need to think about marketing strategies. And for my original work, I know that probably not everybody is going to be able to afford it, but when someone comes in and they really love love a piece of work that I have, I want to be able to have prints or books or cards or something so that they can take a piece of me with them. And my last goal is I kind of said, you know what, I'm going to have a Make It Mondays, and the Make It Mondays is my day that I'm going to make it as an artist. So I'm going to do the research, look for other opportunities, and also do the kind of organization stuff that I really hate, but get that out of the way on Mondays. And so, like, with the Make It Mondays, like, part of that was like entering shows. So if you end up in Youngstown, this piece is at the Butler Midian. So I just want to again say thank you to everybody, and for all your help and all your support.
My name is Tamara Jaeger, and I'm an artist. I feel like this should be one of those like 12-step programs. I sat down to write out what I was going to say for this, and I ended up rewriting my artist statement instead. So we'll just go with that. When I signed up for the Artist Launchpad, what I wanted to get out of it was really sort of more of the focus on the business side of things, and also to get some connection with the other artists. Most of the time I'm perfectly happy to just sort of sit at home with myself and do my own thing. But when I do actually push myself to go out there, I find that it helps me and my art develop. And I haven't been doing that in the last few years. And so that's what I was expecting, and what I got was really so much more. I did find a lot of community, and it's underlined just the benefits and the impact that interaction with other artists really gives me. I had no idea there were so many opportunities in this area for art, and that it's actually possible to do it. I'll find out what I was going to say, and I can't remember any of it. But I think connection is one of the big things, and just the little interactions have been so beneficial. Like, I was looking, after one of our meetings, I went down to see Gwen's show in the gallery downstairs, and I was thinking about what I want to say as an artist, because I've never really been able to articulate that very well and put it out there. And so I'm thinking about that, and I'm looking at Gwen's work, and I realized that was exactly the opposite of what I wanted my work to say. And I actually really wanted, because her work is very uncomfortable. It's very dangerous feeling, and I realized that I want my art to be a safe space where people can relax and reflect and recenter. And so that's been a big thing, is just figuring out my own purpose and what I want to say with my art. The other thing is to realize that I think there was probably some, imposter syndrome kicking in there, but watching like when Nick Lee was talking about all his grants and all these residencies that he's done, he's only been graduated, 2 years? I was like, you know what? Why can't I do that? Why can't I just apply to these things? And so that's going to be one of my big goals, is to put myself out there more, to apply for these things, and to actually focus on staying connected. Art-wise, I want to explore. I've been doing a lot of focus on recycling and reusing and sustainability and preservation. Part of that's, I have a background in museum archaeological conservation. And so I've got a big focus on preservation. And then Ava Kwan was talking about decay and aging. And so I thought, maybe I need to push that side of things and explore that more and contrast that with the preservation. I focus on using things that keeping them from deteriorating. What if I go the other way? And I make these things and I'll let them deteriorate and document that. And so that's one way I think my art is going to go. And a lot of that, all of these things are coming from the interaction with the other people and the other artists in the community. So I'm really, really glad that I had the opportunity to participate in this. I think it's been a fantastic resource, and I'm really looking forward to keeping in contact because I know that that's going to help me as an artist, which can help with the rest of the community.
Can you all hear me? My allergies are like doing a doozy on me. Yes? Awesome. I'd like to start with some grounding statements that I've accumulated over the time of the Launchpad that have stuck with me and that I'll carry with me. And so it's I am finding my path forward. I am excited by new challenges and opportunities. What can I do where I am and with what I have? And the last is to lose ourselves is to find ourselves through this creative work. So I want to shout out Tamara for that first affirmation actually at one of our launch pads. When Natalie is like, well, how does everybody feel? And we're all like, I don't know. Tamara said, I am finding my path forward. And I think more than anything, I have felt like I have continuously been finding my path forward in this Launchpad experience. And artistically, I wanted to make note that all except one of these photos was made during the time of this Launchpad. So I actually went in and changed all my changed all my images to really emphasize kind of how inspired and how creative this experience has allowed me to feel. The second affirmation, I am excited by new challenges and opportunities, came during our experience, our second Launchpad, and I think I came into this feeling very guarded and feeling a lot of imposter syndrome obviously coming up, but also not being so excited, but being more like timidly scared towards challenges and opportunities. And that has completely shifted over the 7 weeks. And then the third affirmation, what can I do where I am and with what I have? In speaking about her writing, Toni Morrison, who for some reason over the last 7 weeks has also come up for me as a really poignant guide in meaningful creative work. She spoke about what she could do where she was and with what she had when she wasn't out there protesting on the front lines and when she wasn't necessarily in a position to like fight the good fight. How could she do that through her writing? How could she do that through her art? And so a lot of that kind of ideology has guided many of these projects. And I'll talk about the Naming Ourselves project here at the end because it's really the most exciting thing that has come up as this, just being around all you creative people has empowered me to feel like, yeah, I'm putting myself out there, I'm a creative person. And then lastly, at our last Launchpad, Barbara Sable, the writer and poet, made mention of losing ourselves in our work to find ourselves in this creative work, which is, I could get emotional about that because we have all had a last tumultuous 3 years, and particularly for myself, I have probably lost myself and found myself 1,000 times over and over, and through creation and through a really deep immersion in kind of doing the scary stuff, I have lost myself to find myself and enjoyed the delicious process along the way. And I'm grateful to the artists who came to teach and who came to listen and who came to learn among us all that provided to that experience. So I'm keeping it short because my voice is like out of here. But I do want to touch on the Naming Ourselves project, which is a project that I started at the beginning of this Launchpad. Maelstrom Collaborative Arts, which is a organization in Cleveland, Ohio, has a public art portal experience, and I am going to be exhibiting 2 portraits from the Naming Ourselves project, which is centered around queer, trans, and non-binary journeys and their names and really it's a project about choosing yourself, and it's a project about defining who you are, and I feel like that relates to this experience in its entirety as we define ourselves as artists. And so if you want to see that, it will be up during June, and there is like an Instagram and stuff. And so, yeah, my name is Chey. I also go by Chevy artistically. None of you knew that, so like, surprise. But I typically go by Chevy artistically. And I want to thank Natalie, and I want to thank Heather for this like beautiful and like truly transformative experience. And that's it. Peace out.